God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for coming to the channel. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button, hit that like button, and turn the bell icon on to get notified of every upload. So originally, I wasn't even going to cover this in a video because I figured it's not a video that people would probably even want to watch. But I did get some messages on Instagram saying they want me to cover it, so I'm doing it for you guys. Now, if you're not familiar with the setup, I'm going to go over it real quick. K20A2, stock internals, RSX, tuned by AGN Tuning in Killeen, Texas. Has 1000cc injectors, running on 93 octane tune. It pulls really good. Now, one of my problems was I was only using the stock sensor, which is right here. I only have it in to plug the hole now. And that was only monitoring the air that comes in to the supercharger, but not the air that's already in the supercharger. Now, there is a big difference because the air coming in is cooler than the compressed supercharged air. So I needed to see the accurate temperature inside. This was reading roughly about 90 to 100 degrees, maybe just a little above 100, so like 105 or something like that. I'll put a little video clip here of how it was reading and how slow it was reading prior to this AEM air intake temperature sensor. So here's that video clip. Okay, so as you can see from that video clip, the intake temp was going up, just not very rapidly, and that's only because it was on the intake pipe right there where that sensor is. So it wasn't monitoring what's going on in the supercharger, which is super important. The computer needs to know what's going on so it can adjust accordingly, because if not, it won't know to add some fuel to cool it down in the cylinders, or it won't know to subtract some timing because the temp's too hot. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. Of course, I am a slacker, so I didn't have that hooked up when I went and got the dyno tune, but of course everything was still good. We made 301 to the wheels on the dyno. I have videos of that if you guys want to check it out. So with this particular setup, I have 6 10mm bolts that hold the supercharger on, plus the belt, and then, throttle cable and some connectors. Got the supercharger off, which is left with this right here, as you can see on the screen. It's just a picture I took of the supercharger off. And right down at the very bottom of it, right there, it's circled. That's where I put the AEM intake temperature sensor, so that way it can actually monitor directly under the supercharger, which is a very accurate spot, and it threaded right in. I will leave a link in the description for this AEM temperature sensor, so that way if you guys have some similar setup, you can drill and tap if you don't have the right fitting, or it may just screw right in. But on this particular setup, it screwed right in. So I basically just ran 2 extra wires off of the sensor, which it came with a connector. I wired those 2 to the factory clip, and it works perfectly fine. So I went ahead and did a quick pull last night, and this is with the temps cooler outside. It was probably about 75 degrees or something like that outside. It wasn't too hot, but I went ahead and did a quick pull. So here is the video clip I got of that. Now, if you look again at that video clip, zoomed in, you can see that temperature just rises so fast, and that is what we want. We want to see that rise fast. Obviously, we don't want that hot of temps because that's crazy hot, but that's kind of to be expected with supercharger pushing almost 9 pounds of boost. A MP62 supercharger this size, that's actually pretty decent temp. On my D-Series, I was doing about the same temperature, running less boost on my D-Series setup, and it was 220, I believe, on that setup. It's on this channel if you guys want to go back and check those videos out as well. So I'm thinking about water meth injection in the future to keep it cooled down and make just a little bit more power, but everyone's probably thinking, why not get an intercooler? They're called aftercoolers for this, and I'd have to spend quite a bit of money to get one for this particular setup, and to me it's not justifiable unless I'm putting a brand new supercharger kit on. They're about $5,000. I'll try to link one in the description if you guys want to get one, but I don't have that kind of money to toss around. But a water meth injection kit's about 300 bucks roughly from Snow Performance, and they're pretty good. Now, they probably have some cheaper ones. I haven't checked it out, but I definitely want to look into that in the future to keep those temps under control. But man, this thing pulls harder than it did before. I didn't get an audio clip, but here's a video clip of just kind of how hard it pulled, just doing a little test hit last night as well. Unfortunately, there's no audio because I didn't record the audio. I actually record the audio separate on my phone when I was doing this pool, because that was just Hondata's data logger, which doesn't have audio. So that's how you got the audio clip with the other one. But yeah, it definitely pulls really hard. It gets no traction. I still have to work on the suspension components. If you can't tell, this rod right here is up at an angle and it needs to be perfectly flat and level. That's because the suspension, when you lower these, it puts an angle on the steering, which actually makes it really hard. It has a lot of bump steer, not torque steer, but bump steer. When you get like hit a bump while accelerating, it like jerks one way or another. Most people call that torque steer, but this is bump steer in this situation. And they make a piece that goes right there. It raises it up, levels that out. Then I can get some new CV axles and get an alignment done. And then this thing will be ready to actually go down the track. Obviously those intake temps are pretty hot still, so it would have to be like we do a pool, let it cool off and go do another pool. But they definitely build up temps really quick on these superchargers. But I still think they're fun. Now everyone will argue that supercharger is not as good as turbo. It's all in the preference of the person who owns the vehicle. I prefer superchargers. If you guys haven't noticed, I had the Supercharged Pilot, the Supercharged TL, the Supercharged Civic, this supercharged. I had a GTP supercharged. I just love superchargers. Now, nothing wrong with turbos. I had plenty of those on the channel as well. From my automatic turbo Civic that ended up getting manual swap turbo. And then, you know, I've had the truck turbo, the green EF turbo. I love turbos as well. So with that being said, I just wanted to show you guys that AEM temperature sensor and get a video out. I know this isn't a super long video, but it is something for you guys to watch in the meantime. And if God is willing, tomorrow I will be having a subscriber come over to pick this car up. It's super awesome. I'm blessing him and he's blessing me in return. I'm getting 2 vehicles for the price of 1. One of those vehicles will be donated off. Not sure what we're doing with the other one yet. But yeah, I'm trying to bless as many families as I can, help the community, not just the car community, but people in general, because loving your neighbor is super important. We're all made in the image of God. Every single person, even people who don't believe in God, hey, you have free will to do that. But I just urge you guys to pick up that Bible and read it if you guys want to know more about this. Definitely message me on Instagram, instagram.com/Texas Honda channel. I'll try to link it in the description as well. But yeah, I'm going to bless as many people as I can using the platform I have. And when you guys share the videos, it helps the channel grow. I need to get more views so I can get more money so that I can help more people. It's not just a selfish gain that I want or anything like that. I want to actually be able to help people. But yeah, if you guys want to share these videos around, it helps me tremendously. And definitely stay tuned because we will have more coming if God is willing. But we're going to bless as many lives as we can in Jesus' name. So I will see you guys in the next video. I hope this was detailed enough for you on explanation. We will definitely go more in depth later on. So definitely want to stay tuned. Again, if you're not subscribed here, please hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next video. And as I like to say, God bless. Stay safe. Stay awesome.